Hi, thanks for watching. Today I wanted to show you just one simple, quick exercise that will help improve your practice, whether it's Tai Chi or Bagua or Xingyi, Yang-style Tai Chi, Chen-style Tai Chi, probably even a lot of the external styles of martial arts, Chinese martial arts. This will be a useful exercise as well. Let me show you the exercise first. It's a very simple exercise. And then we'll talk about some of the details why I think it's so important. So the exercise itself is, first I want you to go and find a wall and stand in front of the wall. Important thing with this is to have your feet, both toes pointing forward, so not out at angles, but the feet are parallel. Often with a wall there's a baseboard and or a quarter round, so that if you put your toes up against that, you're still about 1 inch or so away from the wall. So the wall is right in front of you here. Feet are hip width apart, and again, toes are pointing straight forward. And then from here, all I want you to do is to set your weight down and see how low you can go before you're unable to go any lower. And then come back up. That's it. If you want to go and find a wall and try it, now's a good time to do it. But come back, and so I can give you a few pointers about why it's important and how to improve on this. First thing, of course, is if you try this, what most people will find, if it's the first time that they try it, is they get to a certain point, and then one of several things will happen. One thing is they'll start to go down, and then their forehead will hit the wall. Can't go any further because their forehead is there. If they don't, the other thing that happens is that you set your weight down, you get to a certain point, and then you start to fall backwards. And or you get to a certain point, maybe this is closely related to the falling backwards, is that you get to a certain point and your knees hit the wall. And then from there, your knees stop you from going any further, because if you were to go further, again, you fall backwards. Oh, and then there's a fourth thing that can happen, which is that as you start to go down, your heels come up off the ground, and that again pushes your knees against the wall, and again, you fall backwards. So, hitting your forehead, hitting your knees, falling backwards, these are often the things that limit you from going past a certain point. Though it is entirely possible from standing right up against the wall here, and it is entirely possible to get yourself to get all the way down and then come all the way back up. But it requires a couple of different things. First of all, it requires ankle flexibility. It requires thighs, the muscles in your thighs, your quadriceps to be strong enough to hold your weight as you go down and come back up. And you need the hips to be relaxed enough so that you can set into the hips as you drop down. So those are the requirements for this exercise. And these are the requirements that are assumed for a lot of Chinese style martial arts. The crouching down or the squat, this is a posture that is just assumed you can do naturally before you even do any martial arts training. So having this posture here is just assumed that you can do this, get into this and out of this comfortably. And if that isn't the case, then this is one of the important things to be working on as you do your training. You can use this exercise as the training to do that, and or you can focus and find exercises that target those areas I was just mentioning. So ankle flexibility, thigh strength, and stretching the hips to get the flexibility in the hips. This includes the hamstring stretches, the stretches of the tensor fasciae lata, and also adductor muscle stretches. So the stretches for all the muscles around the leg that come into the hip joint, the muscles that attach, especially the soleus and the gastrocs, for the ankle flexibility, and of course, core strength. So all of these will help, because what you want to be able to do when you're having this alignment here And doing this exercise, to be able to go down, you need to be able to relax into the hips, set the weight not on the balls of the feet, but set them back over the heel. And then from there, you want to try and keep the body fairly upright. Often when people are crouching down, they're crouching down, the head goes in one direction, the butt goes in the other direction, and the body starts to tilt. When you place a wall in front of you, you're limited to how much that lean is possible. There has to be some lean, but you're really, with placing the wall there, limiting how much you can make that lean to keep yourself in balance. So what makes up the difference from there? So instead of being able to do this and keep the weight steady, we're limited, and as we bend down, of course, the weight is set back over the heels. And we have to use the strength of the thighs to allow us to keep that posture and still set down. The stronger we have, the more that we have the strength in the thighs, and the more we can set into the hip joint here. So it feels like you're just setting the weight over the heels and then dropping the hips straight down. That's what it feels like. What really happens objectively is that the weight sets into the hip. You engage the core muscles and the thigh muscles to counter lever yourself as you lean forward just a little bit. And that is enough to keep you, as your weight comes over your heels, to keep you from falling back. So the weight will feel like it's all on the heels as you engage the thighs and the core muscles to hold you here. If you tighten the hips, that changes the angle of the pelvis and then you fall backwards. So this is why the strength through the thighs combined with the flexibility in the hips and the ankles is so important for this exercise. And of course, this is useful for something like within Chen style Tai Chi, with any of the styles where you have a drop stance, Pu Bu. So with new frame Chen style Tai Chi, we're coming through into that drop stance, come out and through. Here requires that. But even with Yang style Tai Chi, when we're doing needle to the bottom of the seat, all of the moves in Bagua, we're doing drop stances coming through, either high or low. The Golden Phoenix flashes its wings to the swallow skimming over the water. And of course, within Xingyi, we have something like the dragon form here, which takes that basic assumption that you can do the squat, but then adds the coiling aspect to it to add in the dynamic that's required for the dragon. Right? So all of these forms assume that you have the capability of doing that crouching down posture. The more that you're able to do that posture without struggle, the more you can refine your technique, build the internal strength that's required, and progress with your practice and your training. So I hope that's helpful. Keep learning, keep training. Thanks for watching.